Hi everyone, what's up? My name is Alex and welcome to Team Terra. In this episode, we'll be talking about the relationship between humans and energy during prehistory. So let's get right into it. What is the main driver of evolution, of innovation? Energy. Humans can't get enough of it. From the controlled use of fire to warm food, to burning fossil fuels to make cars run, everything humans do is to get more energy. More energy to reproduce, raise children, and to feed our huge brains. This analysis is to better understand humanity's pursuit of energy, to guide our future endeavors as a species. In this video, we'll be talking about energy during a time before written records. We'll be going more in depth about bipedalism, fire, tools, foraging and hunting, and some early agriculture. This was inspired by Energy and Civilization, A History by Yaacov Smil. Even Bill Gates has read it. It's a great book, and the sources I use are also used by him, so if you like what you hear, I greatly encourage you to go check it out. In the modern day, everything is standardized into units of measure, like 3 joules, 12 tons, 2,000 calories. Although these units of measurement are great for measuring the quantitative side of energy systems, they often neglect the qualitative side. For example, quantitative measures do not distinguish between fossil and renewable energies, although this distinction is crucial to better understanding nature and the sustainability of a given energy system. To understand humanity's everlasting pursuit of more energy, we need to go back to a time before Homo sapiens. The earliest hominids, the Ardipithecus ramidus, date back to around 4.4 million years ago. The Australopithecus afarensis, from 3.7 to 3 million years ago, was the first hominid to have upright walking as its main form of transportation. That'll be very important later. An analysis of Homo sapiens bones found in Ethiopia in 1967 date them back to roughly 190,000 years ago, so we're the youngest of the siblings. The first evolutionary departure that led to our species branching off from the others was not the use of tools or bigger brains, but bipedalism. Walking on 2 legs at first glance wasn't the safest or most reliable way to walk. Bipedalism is inherently clumsy and unstable. To quote Napier, "Human walking is risky business. Without split-second timing, man would fall flat on his face. In fact, with each step he takes, he teeters on the edge of catastrophe." That begs the question, why bipedalism? There are many solutions to this question, such as to appear taller to intimidate predators, although this wouldn't work on wild dogs or hyenas who aren't intimidated by much larger animals. Or it could be to see over tall grass, though this would have just attracted more predators. The best explanation for bipedalism would be energy efficiency, as human walking costs about 75% less energy than both four-legged and bipedal walking in chimpanzees. Bipedalism freed our hands to do more intricate things, like holding and making tools. Tracing the earliest wooden tool is impossible, as they would only have survived in rare environments without oxygen. The latest findings at the Lomekwi site in West Turkana, Kenya, set the date of the oldest known stone tools to around 3.3 million years ago. Larger tools made of 2 or 3 materials became common only around 25,000 years ago, allowing many familiar tools such as needles, saws, pottery, harpoons, and even woven items like clothes, baskets, and nets. We will never know the earliest dates for the controlled use of fire, as reliable evidence would have been destroyed by many subsequent events. While some fossil records suggest humans consumed cooked food as early as 1.9 million years ago, there is no doubt that by 30 to 20,000 years ago, the use of fire was widespread. Cooking offers access to a wider range and better quality of food. It changed many physical traits, such as smaller teeth and a smaller digestive tract. It also changed many behavioral traits, such as socialization and the creation of sedentary lives. Humans were using fire not only to cook, but also to heat treat their tools, with evidence dating back to as early as 164,000 years ago. Now, where did these cavemen basically get their food? Back then, it was mainly through foraging and hunting. In the early days of foraging, average densities of foragers were lower than other herbivores. That meant that the density was still too low to support complex societies. Hunters preferred to hunt animals with high energy densities, such as wild pigs and antelopes. Where these animals were common, hunting was too. In grasslands and open woodlands, there were easily collectible fruits and nuts, and the animals grazing the grasslands often grew very large and moved in herds, which gave hunters a better energy return per hunt. Due to the unimpressive physicality of humans, it is likely that before the proliferation of effective weapons, our ancestors were more scavengers than hunters. Once effective tools were invented and adopted though, hunting was considered the preferable option. As by the later Stone Age, African hunters were completely competent at killing large animals such as buffaloes. This had a huge contribution to human socialization. Individual hunting had a low success rate, so hunting groups had to cooperate to track, butcher, and transport the meat, making communal hunting by far the most successful form of hunting. In many school books and articles, they portray foraging societies as content, healthy, and full of energy. Simplifying foraging societies like this neglects the reality of how dangerous the work was and how frequently environmental factors and diseases incapacitated foraging societies. Despite this though, some foraging societies were extraordinarily productive. These societies were actually usually associated with the exploitation of aquatic resources. For most of human history, humans were foragers. But eventually, as we all know, they started to farm. Why did that happen? And why did agricultural practices catch on so fast? The most persuasive explanation is that during the late Paleolithic, the climate was too cold and CO2 levels were too low. But these levels changed during the Holocene. Agriculture became more energy efficient than hunting or foraging. This argument is further strengthened since agriculture evolved independently of each other in at least 7 different locations on 3 continents. At its core, crop cultivation, or agriculture, is an attempt at maintaining an adequate food supply as returns from hunting and gathering diminished. As Smil puts it, sedentary agriculture made it easier to have larger families, to accumulate material possessions, and to organize for both defense and offense. There was no single center from which domesticated animals spread, but the most important agricultural origin was in the upper regions of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Mesopotamia. Early agriculture was often shifting cultivation, that is, where land is cultivated for a few years, then left empty for a much longer time for the land to naturally regain fertility, then continue the cycle once again. That concludes today's episode, in which we explored the relationship between humans and energy during prehistory. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button to be the first to see our next video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll try my best to get to all of them. Again, this was based on the book Energy and Civilization and History by Yaklav Smil. Please go check it out. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.